Okay.
The leaves are turning, the air is crisp, and you know what that means. A brand new season of anime is upon us.
Of
But this
course.
fall, forget the usual comfort watches. This season, reality is canceled because isekai and fantasy anime are taking us on a wild ride to worlds
Definitely.
more captivating than ever before.
Yeah.
Animeology is your guide to the hottest isekai and fantasy titles that are about to explode onto your screens. Don't miss a single epic battle, magical quest, or fantastical romance. Let's dive into these must-watch shows of fall 2024. Number 10, Loner Life in Another World.
Yeah. So Lone Life in Another World, as we discussed, is one of those great animes that have came out this season. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's a pretty mid anime. It has its own charm. It has its own vibe. I really appreciate this anime compared to the other ones. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty interesting compared to the other things that I've seen have came out this season. So yeah, I would give this one a watch, maybe one or two episodes. Don't get your hopes up with this one, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty chill.
Imagine being ripped from your comfortable routine of avoiding social interaction and perfecting your ramen slurping technique only to be thrown into a world of magic and monsters. That's Haruka's reality, and
Yeah,
honestly, he's not thrilled. He wouldn't mind
yeah,
some superpowers to spice things up, but Fate, it
true.
seems, has a twisted sense of humor. While his
Yeah,
classmates are busy scoring flashy spells and superhuman strength, Haruka's stuck with the magical equivalent of unwanted leftovers. Haruka's forced to navigate this new world armed with his wits, a healthy dose of sarcasm, and a truly bizarre skill set. He's the embodiment of work smarter, not harder,
that's
except his
true.
toolkit is just not up to par. And then there are his classmates.
Like literally, Haruka's toolkit, he literally gets a stick, a cloak, and the most dumbest skills you ever see. But honestly, all in all, what I really appreciate about his skills, he has a lot more skills that are actually more useful than it's more useless than you think it is. But man, this dude is really struggling, but he found a way to actually make his struggle skills into his benefit. And that's a pretty good thing I gotta give to Haruka.
Who seem to have missed the memo about teamwork and cooperation. Then comes the infighting, the drama, and the inevitable chaos that follows a group of teenagers with too much power and not enough common sense.
So imagine this dude gets isekai with his classmates, and his classmates, man, they are so full of shit. They have so much drama. They have so much, just a lot of baggage. Each and every single person has baggage in this show. But it's just crazy when you watch some of the things that happen over here. It's pretty refreshing to see a whole classmate, an isekai which covers literally the whole classmate, not just one or two people, the whole classmate. And that's what I really appreciated from everybody else.
ここから何が起こるかわからない。気を引き締めていこう。
Number 9, Let This Grieving Soul Retire.
So guys, yeah, this is one of my favorite shows, one of my biggest performing YouTube videos that are out there. I really appreciate you guys if you're watching me because of this show. It's one of those things which really fills my heart up and makes me want to keep on doing more content. But yeah, this show is amazing. It's a vibe. It's different. I never like there's a whole full series of manga for this whole show. It's different. It's vibrant. It's cool. And man, I can't wait to see the whole crew. They've only shown, I think, about out of maybe a crew of 8, they've only shown 3 members, and those 3 members are pretty badass.
Age, such a cursed yet real term. You can
Yeah.
go from the one to the once upon a time, but for some, it can be
True.
a luxury. For every old adventurer regaling skeptical tavern patrons with tales of daring do, there's a Cray Andry, a man who just wants to hang up his adventuring boots and enjoy a nice cup of tea in peace.
Yeah.
See, Cray had this youthful, foolish dream of becoming a legendary treasure hunter. He even made a pact with his buddies, fueled by youthful enthusiasm and probably too much ale. But as the golden age of treasure hunting dawned, Cray realized he was not well suited for the job. His friends, however, they took to it like ducks to water, becoming the very picture of greedy, glory-hungry adventurers. Cray, meanwhile, discovered his true calling, the art of the strategic retreat. he mastered the art of diplomacy, or more accurately, begging and pleading his way out of perilous situations.
But to be fair, this character, as much as he sounds like a wimp where he's saying diplomacy, you know that's cap. There's no such thing as diplomacy. This dude is literally a lazy, very strategic, very manipulative and conniving main character. We got a different type of main character when it comes to Cry, but I gotta give it to him. He's very smart in that regard. But as well, the thing which I like about Cry, all of his teammates depend on him. They trust him and they believe in him that he can actually do the most. So yeah, to be fair, I can't hate on Cry. He is the boss, he is the leader, and he is doing the most with a team like that, you know?
Why face a fire-breathing dragon when you can convince your companions that there's probably a much more valuable treasure in the opposite direction?
True.
Number 8, Goodbye Dragon Life.
Goodbye Dragon Life. This is also another isekai which, man, I don't know. Nowadays, you know, isekai animes, there's just so many. This one is a pretty good one. It's basically a dragon which now gets reincarnated to a human. This is the guy which you see, Dolan. So Dolan, he's now, I don't know how to put it. He's now coming on new adventures, but he still has his old memories. He still has his old powers. He's like an OP classic main protagonist that gets isekai'd into a new world.
Reincarnation can be cruel at times. You could be the mightiest ruler, the wealthiest merchant, the most feared dragon, and end up reborn as a farmer with a penchant for growing prize-winning turnips. Such is the peculiar fate of Dolan, our protagonist. Once he was the most powerful dragon in existence, a creature of immense magic and even greater grumpiness. Even the gods thought twice before disturbing his beauty sleep. But times change, heroes rise, and even legendary dragons can find themselves on the wrong end of a heroically wielded sword. And so Dolan finds himself reborn, not with a roar, but a yawn. Gone are the days of soaring through the heavens and hoarding mountains of gold. Now, it's all about tilling the fields, mending fences, and trying to remember if he fed the chickens. Yet, to Dolan's surprise, this simple life devoid of world domination schemes or epic battles has its own unexpected charm. Of course, no good reincarnation story is complete without a touch of the extraordinary. Enter Selena, a Lamia on a quest for love, which is proving rather difficult when your lower half is, well,
a
serpentine.
snake.
Dolan, with his past life experiences, is unfazed by Selena's unique physique. They form a bond as unexpected as it is heartwarming. But don't think for a moment that this is just...
So yeah, this is basically the waifu of the show, Selena. So I don't know, man, how to feel about this one. This one, I would say maybe give it a good 2 episodes watch. It's not the fastest show. It's not the greatest show. It's pretty mid. Like, so far, most of these animes are pretty mid. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's a pretty good watch. It's like a show which you want to watch when you just want to switch off your mind. The world's lore is not as intense as the other animes. This one is a pretty chilled, nothing crazy, pretty vibey. So yeah, I would definitely watch this, you know. Don't even think twice about it. Just give it a watch. It's a fun vibe, no cap. I would watch this.
It's a quiet tale of rural romance. Dolan's past life has a nasty habit of rearing its scaly head.
Oh yeah, and Dolan is hella OP. I gotta give him that.
Number 7, I'll become a villainess who goes down in history.
I'll become a villainess who goes down in history. Basically, this is like a female power fantasy. The main protagonist, this girl, I forgot her name, Alicia. Alicia is basically one of those which wants to become a villain. Everything about her, she just wants to be the bad guy. The bad guy, the most craziest person. You know, that's her thing. And I gotta respect it as her, that being her thing, you know. It's different.
As the old saying goes, seeking too much is never good. Especially when you're a villainess in an otome game, notorious for your venomous wits, questionable fashion choices, and a talent for making enemies. Meet our protagonist, a young woman with an unhealthy obsession with Alicia, the resident bad girl of the popular otome game, Hearts of Deception. We've all been there, right? Crushing hard on the fictional character who probably eats puppies for breakfast, but our girl takes it to the next level. She wants to be Alicia, consequences be damned. And wouldn't you know it, a sleepy truck driver grants her wish in the most permanent way possible. Reborn as a 7-year-old Alicia, she's got a head full of game knowledge, a heart full of villainous ambition, and a wardrobe that screams future dictator. She's determined to become the most iconic villainess in gaming history. But as with all good
Okay, to be honest about this show is one of those where low-key, it is not bad. It sticks to what it calls itself. I'll become the greatest villainess. Yeah, and what she does, she becomes a heavy villain. Like she is on bad timing, demon timing, always. She always thinks of how can I be the bad guy, but in a cunning / smart way. She uses her diplomacy, her wits to always gain an advantage in each and every single situation. But what I like about Alicia, she actually is a very nice person. She's not a bitch like other shows where even though a person is a villain, she's a freaking bitch. This one, she's chilled. She's chilled. No bad vibes, but in a villainous way, smart and witty. I gotta give it to her.
Incarnation stories, Fate, it seems, has other plans. Turns out, escaping a predetermined storyline is harder than it looks, even when you've got the cheat codes.
Yeah.
Alicia!
Number 6, the healer who was banished from his party is, in fact, the strongest.
The healer which was banished from his party is, in fact, the strongest. This is one of those animes, bro, where you will be shocked and you will watch it, you'll be like, what? So this guy is actually pretty, what? He was banished and he was strong. This show is different, man. It's a different type of show that I've never seen before. It's one of those where unexpectedly the protagonist becomes hella strong, like very stronger than you think he is. And I really appreciate this show. When I watched it, thank God there's season 1, episode 1 is actually in dubbed. So give this one a try. I give this one I give it a higher rating than the other ones because the other ones are like a bit mid. This one is just above mid. It's a good show. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it way more than I thought it was.
Getting rejected, only to be the very legend they seek. Sounds cliche, but in actuality, there's nothing more satisfying than watching your former companions choke on their own misguided judgments.
True.
Especially when you've been secretly carrying the team this whole time. So, Laos is your quintessential support class. Kind, compassionate, always ready with a healing potion and a reassuring smile.
Always.
He's basically the walking, talking equivalent of a warm hug. There's just one tiny problem.
That is funny.
While secretly a powerhouse, a close combat whirlwind of pain disguised as a gentle healer.
Yeah,
why the charade,
that's
you
true.
ask? Well, some people just like to watch the world burn, and Laos prefers to let his fists do the talking.
Yeah.
So, when his clueless party leader, blinded by arrogance and a truly
I honestly, his party leader, this guy, he has been carrying this whole show. Because he's such an asshole and he's so funny. Like, dude, he's just a really funny ass dude. I gotta give it
impress
to
the
him.
collection of shiny armor, boots poor Laos for not pulling his weight. It's less of a tragedy and more of an opportunity. Laos shrugs, packs his healing herbs, and sets off to find new, less judgmental companions. Number 5, the do-over damsel conquers the Dragon Emperor.
Whoa, I've never heard of this one. This one sounds like an interesting one. Yo, I haven't heard of this one. The do-over dance.
Engagements, a time for cake, celebrations, and meticulously plotting your escape from a preordained life of misery. That's the situation facing Jill Sabelle, a woman who's had the dubious pleasure of being betrayed, framed, and generally mistreated by the very kingdom she swore to protect. But who needs a peaceful afterlife when you can have a do-over? Thanks to a generous helping of fate, a dash of divine intervention, and maybe a sprinkle of cosmic irony, Jill finds herself catapulted back in time. No more lady.
Whoa, that is pretty cool. Imagine being in that situation where a lot of shit happens, she got fucked over and all of that, but now she gets reversed back in time. That is so cool, dog. I gotta give them that.
Goddess of War. Now she's a spunky 10-year-old with the knowledge of a jaded war veteran and a to-do list that reads like a revenge fantasy. First up, break off her engagement to the treacherous Prince Geralt. Now, most 10-year-olds would write a strongly worded letter or maybe stage a dramatic hunger strike. Not Jill. She goes for the nuclear option, declaring her undying love to the Dragon Emperor Hades Theos Rave.
Damn.
You know, the Dragon Emperor, the one destined to go mad and paint the kingdom red with the blood of his enemies. Except, he's not quite the tyrannical monster Jill remembers. In fact, he's a bit of a softie, a powerful, terrifying, fire-breathing softie, but a softie nonetheless. And so begins Jill's second chance at life and love?
もう一度求婚してほしい。
What the heck? He's already promising marriage. This one is a pretty interesting one. I would give this one maybe 1 or 2 episodes. It seemed like a vibe. Yo, you gotta give it to isekai animes, especially ones where a person gets another chance in life. You gotta kind of give that one a good watch, bro. High key. I would give that one a watch. No cap, no cap.
Number 4, a terrified teacher at Ghoul School.
Dude, I've always seen this one, but I've never heard anything about it. Let's see.
桜舞う4月、僕は憧れの教師になった。
Teaching is a tough profession, they say. Molding young minds, inspiring a love of learning, and occasionally dodging spitballs in the classroom. But spare a thought for poor Haruka Abe, because his teaching gig takes challenging to a whole new level of send help and maybe an exorcist. Haruki, you see, is not your typical teacher. He's more likely to faint at the sight of a spider than inspire a classroom of eager students. So, naturally, fate, in its infinite sense of humor, has placed him in charge of a classroom full of ghouls, goblins, and things that go bump in the night.
That's
Haruki's students are a mischievous bunch with a penchant for pranks that would make even the bravest soul lose their lunch and possibly their sanity.
Okay, I would watch this one. I like crazy, creepy. It's like a good anime to watch during Halloween. Like, bro, this is one of those which you should watch during Halloween. I gotta give it to it. Like, I would give this one a huge chance. Like, I like it. It's a good vibe. Sounds like a good vibe.
生徒からジャーマンスープレックスをかけられたのだった。
Number 3, the most notorious talker runs the world's greatest clan.
Yes, this is also another show that I've been covering on my channel, on my YouTube channel. Been one of my most successful shows. This one is a great show. Noelle, I love this show because of everything in this show, the way how it portrays betrayal, vengeance, and spitefulness is just amazing. I like this one.
And if you believe in yourself hard enough, even yapping can become a...
And no lie, this show has the waifu of the season. I gotta give it to her. Like, she's the most diverse character. Alma, she is freaking hot. You'll see her.
Superpower. At least, that's the philosophy of Noelle, a man who proves that the loudest voice in the room often belongs to the one holding all the cards.
True.
Noelle, see, had dreams. Big, ambitious dreams of following in his legendary grandfather's footsteps and becoming the strongest...
Bro, the first episode, they showed the grandfather. The grandfather is OP as fuck. And he's a badass. I gotta send a shout out to his grandfather.
Seeker in the land. He imagined epic battles, heroic feats of strength, and maybe a statue erected in his honor. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Instead of bestowing upon him the power to cleave mountains in two or shoot lasers from his eyes, Noelle was blessed with the most underwhelming ability imaginable. He's a talker. Now, in most worlds, talkers are...
The name, don't be fooled by it. It's a pretty sick anime. That's why it's high up on the list. Out of all of the other animes, they're a bit shallow. This one is not shallow. This one hits home. You gotta give it a chance.
As useful as a chocolate teapot in a heat wave. They're the designated negotiators, the mediators, the ones who try to talk their way out of a fight while everyone else is busy sharpening their swords. But Noelle, bless his ambitious little heart, saw an opportunity. If I can't be the strongest fighter, he reasoned, then I'll simply assemble the strongest fighting force and stand triumphantly at the top. Thus began Noelle's unorthodox rise to power. He wheedled, he cajoled, he threatened, he negotiated deals that would make even the most seasoned diplomat break out in a cold sweat. His methods were questionable, to say the least. Some might even call them downright villainous, but you can't argue with results.
Okay, his methods are very villainous, but at the same time, he had to do some of his methods because, man, they've been fucking Noel over big time. His team has been fucking him over. They've been giving him a hard time, but yeah, man, out of all people, this guy is a pretty sick motherfucker. I gotta give it to Noel. Noel is sick, you know?
Number 2, Demon Lord 2099.
Yo, I've heard about this one, but I never gave it a chance. I should give it a chance, bro.
The year is 2099. Flying cars, so last century. Self-aware toasters, yesterday's news. We're talking a world where magic and technology have become as inseparable as a teenager and their smartphone.
Bro.
Skyscrapers pierce the clouds, powered by ancient runes humming with arcane energy. Cybernetically enhanced shamans sling spells alongside neon-clad hackers. Welcome to Shinjuku, the cyberpunk metropolis of the future, where the only thing more dazzling than the technology is the sheer audacity of its inhabitants. But even in this neon-drenched wonderland, some things never change, like the insatiable ambition of a conquering demon lord, for instance. Beltol, back from a 5-century-long power nap and ready to reclaim his title as ruler of all things scary. There's just one tiny problem. The world has moved on. Literally, gone are the days of fire and brimstone, replaced by a society obsessed with holographic entertainment.
Basically, this guy got isekai'd from a fantasy world to the future in 2099. 100 years. Dude, that is crazy. Imagine being in that type of situation. I wouldn't know how I would survive in this type of situation. It would have fucked me up. Like, imagine now you are like a demon lord and now all of a sudden, bro, like, it's just crazy. That is a crazy freaking thing.
And designer drugs and the latest stock market trend for magically infused microchips. It's enough to make a demon lord yearn for the good old days, back when conquering the world involved more dragons and fewer legal disclaimers.
Crazy, right? Bro.
Number 1, Dragon Ball Daima.
Oh no. Okay, now this is where I'm gonna end the video. Dragon Ball Daima, honestly, okay, to give it fairness, it was created by the original creator of Dragon Ball. This is also like a side note video. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just one of those where I am not really feeling it. But yeah, I guess that's the top 2024 fall anime best isekai. I don't know how to feel about that one. For me, I gotta give it to number 9. Let the Grieving Soul, or whatever number that anime is. Let the Grieving Soul. Woe is what is it called? Yeah, Let the Grieving Soul Retire. Honestly, one of the greatest animes that I've watched this season. Demon Lord 2099. Unique concept. The most notorious talker, where a person's talking ability, it's basically speech 100. Honestly, the best. And what is a terrified teacher at Ghoul School? I would also give that one a good watch. So yeah, that was a really good video.